they could have come in from the south there and make sure that they could grab a few free kills, more or less.
All right, it is time. We're getting into it. It's game number 2. This lobby, A and B, will go head-to-head once again on Erangel as we head over to the commentary team for all of the action.
And welcome back once again for game number 2. I am Poor Swords. Joining me once again is Xenox, and we have one game in the books. We've seen PEL European teams come out swinging early and often.
Yeah, TSM, Na'Vi. I mean, really, you couldn't ask for a better start for 2 of the PEL teams, 2 of the 3 remaining, of course, after last weekend's disaster for PEL.
Yeah. I mean, things obviously not going so great for the bottom half teams of the PEL, but when you think about it, FaZe, TSM, these, Na'Vi to an extent, Na'Vi had probably one of the weakest weekends I think I've ever seen Na'Vi have in a tournament setting, but really kind of turning things on this time around.
Yeah, I mean, Na'Vi started slow last weekend, didn't they? They took a little while to get going. Probably the first 2 games were very slow.
Yeah.
Not Na'Vi-like, and in the last 4, they kind of cruised home. But
I mean, only 16 kills total.
The fact that they've started well is a bad sign for everyone else. And the same can be said for TSM, because they are looking like the TSM we saw last weekend, which completely crushed their group. So that's like, if you're looking at TSM and Na'Vi, they can keep this up, Poro. That's 2 spots already tick, really. I mean, I'm not saying that they're in, but...
No, for sure. I mean, but
it's looking likely if they can continue this form, is what I'm saying.
You absolutely can't deny the TSM coming in looking like world beaters right now, but that was in a circle that was pretty favorable for them, so it was pretty much set up pretty nicely for them to have a nice game there. But you can only play the game that's in front of you,
well,
right?
you saw Na'Vi on the map that we saw, the AR map. They had to rotate pretty heftily, and then obviously chose to hold that compound, and in the end got rewarded for it. And for TSM, they got rewarded for their aggressive play on that farm push against Vendetta. If they don't do that, if they play a bit more passive, try and rotate away from farm, they probably don't have that sort of game. So you got to give credit where credit's due. You can sit here and say, oh, they got fed. The circle ended up on their position. Well, they had to fight to get to that position. That was ballsy from TSM at the start, going into farm like that, encroaching. You could see it when they got that initial elimination onto non-reg. They didn't actually know he was holding that spot. What if there was 2 members of Vendetta holding that? They could have picked up a double kill into TSM, and the whole game's flipped on its head.
Yeah, ain't nothing lucky about 13 kills in the tank. Yeah, I mean,
No,
those guys...
Definitely not.
And the kind of the way they were working, just holding the whole east side, was just a pleasure and a joy to watch as we check in on some of the other boys. We got about 45 seconds before we get into game. Check in on Na'Vi.
But what I'm interested to see, and this is not just the bias in me,
okay,
but I do want to see how Vendetta's going to play this farm spot, because obviously we saw it in that game 1. They weren't comfortable. TSM punished them for it. They realized, hey, these guys are not comfortable with farm. Where are we? We're in Milta. We're like right next door. Let's go and punish them. Vendetta's going to make sure that if they're playing in a new drop location, they can't be split that much to the point where that can happen.
Yeah.
So
I mean, that late.
Well, yeah, exactly right. I think that circle, because it was so central, sort of baited them into that sort of split.
That's true. I could see it happening. Well, guys, we are heading into game number 2 here on Erangel. As we see Na'Vi had our first win. Let's see who's going to take home number 2.
And what we saw from last weekend, and just general, right, when you have these short format tournaments in PUBG, you start well, you tend to finish well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you definitely don't want to have to be digging yourself out of a hole from the very start.
We saw it with Atletico last weekend in the elimination stage, and what happened in the end.
There you go, answering one question right off the bat.
Yeah.
Forget a farm drop. We're going prim.
They have said that they might go prim if they're not comfortable with farm, and I'd say that match 1, they looked like they were not comfortable with farm, and I think they answered that. And it will be interesting to see, because I think coming out of prim will be a safer rotation for them. It might not be a better one, but it's safer. Because when you consider farm and who's next to you, got TSM around that area, you got all these teams that are going to be pushing out a Pachinki, etc., and Snake with infantry. Like, you're literally in between infantry and TSM, and rotating out is going to be dangerous.
Yeah, speaking of TSM, not an easy mill to drop for them, so they dropping on the military island here. Going to be taking a little bit longer rotation.
Yeah, and this is just teams reacting to the plane path, obviously. The other thing with Vendetta going to Primorsk is they're the first ones out. They're the first ones looting. They can get their loot depending on how this circle pops. This might work out for them. As you said, TSM, instead of Milta, they're going to go military base, and that's going to work for them too.
Yeah, we don't often touch about the real impact that the plane path does have.
This is one of those.
On the mid and late games, but this is definitely going to be one that going to have an impact here as we see where our first circle is going to go.
Wow.
And we are going to the southwest, Vendetta.
Now, this is interesting because it's kind of a bait circle.
It is.
Most likely this will be something like Acker Fields.
Well, this is, and you know, one of the things you brought up is that, you know, having the circle land on farm last time for Vendetta, it felt like they were kind of baited into taking a little bit longer and maybe
and you think it might happen again?
Slow, and now we have a similar situation. So
I feel like this is, now, the interesting thing to note for this Vendetta roster is the old Chiefs, if you remember from PGI, they got a couple of members from that roster. They used to loot in the Gaka fields. So they actually know how to play these circles probably much better than the match 1 circle. So interesting to see how that'll play out. Of course, we keep an eye on Pachinki, but Genesis enters fourth. Nothing's going to happen there. They've got their invisible line down the middle of Pachinki. And TSM, obviously, they're going to be pushing out of Milta, going towards Lighthouse Bridge, which means they'll be pushing past Ferry and potentially Na'Vi.
Yeah, Genesis and Entis.
Now, I don't think Na'Vi's going to be going up to any bridge camping strats here.
Probably not. Na'Vi not typically a bridge camping type of team. They will most likely start heading towards the center of the circle, trying to find somewhere good to play on this particular side. Because, you know, you look at it right off the bat, I mean, what is that? Maybe 40% playable in the
Give or
zone.
take, yeah, I agree.
You know, and there's only a certain amount of really strong positions that you would want to take in early.
That's if you consider a place like Primorsk as playable. Probably not.
Yeah.
No one's going to be wanting to actually go there. So
well, that's the thing. I mean,
it's like
you look
kind of
at
like Quarry up.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you look at the hills maybe where SDV is, or half of SDV is, just off to the east of Quarry. Those are typically kind of sought after as a spot to play towards the late game, and you can kind of see everything in the fields around you. But, you know, there's only so many of those spots in these circles like this that you can kind of gain a whole lot of information from. So most likely we'll see Na'Vi and the teams that are already in there try to make a run for those right off the bat.
Now, what's interesting looking at the total rankings already, of course, TSM, Na'Vi, high up there in terms of double-digit points already. If you're GEX, if you're Vendetta, you're on 0 points here. Match 2 is so crucial because it can start to snowball, Poro. You can find yourself going into match 6 so far behind already. Genesis again going with all 4 in the 1 vehicle. Now, they've got a couple of players around them. Mickey from Entis Ace, and you can see Sting Divine there as well, just to their left. Shots from Genesis. They're the ones who have got to be careful, though. Saying that, no one's going to be actually getting out of their vehicles. I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be safe. Yeah,
this is some extremely scary stuff right here for Genesis. It looks like they're going to go ahead and pull off on a way. I think they might have been trying to go for a cutoff there and see if Sting Divine was going to bite on it.
That would have been more risky for Genesis, I think, than Sting Divine.
It might have been. I mean, well, especially considering the fact that there's another car, another vehicle in there.
Oh,
and
speed bump.
A little bit of a speed bump here as they make their way in. They're gonna be careful though, because as we see, Na'Vi already on the move here. We're pushing into Na'Vi territory.
And now this is where Genesis do have to be careful, but I think they've found their destination, which is around just north of Na'Vi. They're going to lose Profi.
We want to make sure we hold on to that car.
They're going to need it.
It might
potentially.
It's the only one we've got.
Maybe not though. I mean, considering this circle, I mean, I don't know if they're going to need the vehicle that desperately.
Oh, Mickey. Mickey been running into a lot of friends. As you see, he's down to about 5 health, 10 health there. As you see the rest of the boys coming in through the trees behind him. Looks like Mickey, Na'Vi once again a doozy right there. All he's got to take is 1 bullet.
Yeah. Doesn't find it.
Doesn't find it just yet. Very, very.
Oh! Ooh,
there it was.
The last shot from a doozy. He just wanted to make it look more difficult.
He really was, as Mickey playing with fire, dancing too close to the sun. But look at this now, Entis Ace looks like they might want a piece, and Entis Force coming in as well.
Yeah, they're going to be pushing in right onto the warehouse. 4 up for Na'Vi. Senya's going to be careful. Bestalotch versus Doya. Oh, nade being thrown in. Was it Kale? Doesn't matter. Bestalotch realized he moved away from the container just in time. Nade thrown from a doozy towards Seong Chang, who actually got locked outside, and that's going to be, he got knocked down. his team, I think it was Indigo, actually locked the door on him. And HWin will oblige and pick up the knockdown. 3 teams here, Genesis, Na'Vi, and Entus Force.
Hold the door. Hold the door. Yep, Sonya going to get rezzed up here, but Genesis coming in with a clutch third party over the top here is actually saving Na'Vi, as I believe that meant that Entus Ace pulled off of this fight. They didn't want it as much as the rest of the boys here. They might actually be able to get the res onto Mickey here as well.
Entus Ace holding East Quarry, Vendetta are at West Quarry. Or west of Quarry, I should say. So Quarry already becoming congested. Na'Vi wanting to group up with Poker Molodoy. So they didn't even have all 4 members here. As you said, Genesis kind of helping a little bit there for Na'Vi. I don't know how much they were really helping because Entus Force weren't necessarily in a position where they were going to be able to collapse onto Na'Vi. It was a bit of a skirmish, but that was all it was going to be. But it is so congested around this area. Now
Gustav.
down near Ferry Pier. TSM, Gustav, spray on a Summer. It's quite good, but not enough to get the knockdown. Who needs the knockdown when you can just blow up the dust here? Iroh picks it up for TSM, and they continue their domination so far for day 1 of the semifinals.
And look at how low Domu is. There's one more shot. Michael, can he find it?
Not an, I thought he was going to do a doozy there, Poro.
That was so close. He does manage to escape for now, as we have lost 2 in this game. So even despite that incredible shot, Mickey does get res there for Entus Ace.
So TSM are going to be... where are they going to be pushing?
Yeah, this is
interesting. I'm just looking at the map, and I didn't see a whole lot that's open for them. I mean, anywhere around Quarry is now taken. Entus Ace, Vendetta, Genesis, Na'Vi, and the Force are all there.
What? How'd you get out of here, buddy?
Leo, this is not your team. Oh, it's possibly 12 in the grass. It's quite sneaky. He doesn't go for the flush, though. Alo pushing over. Now he will go for the flush because I think he realizes he's in a world of danger. Purdy, Curdy, and Alo do want to be careful peeking over this ridge line. And Leo now gets a bit of time here to change his position up. He might find another one if Lazarus are not careful.
Lazarus is just sitting here wondering, what the hell is this guy doing here by himself, all alone?
Is scared. Leo realizes now he's getting some backup here. I mean, has Lazarus taken too long, Poro?
Yeah, absolutely. They have no, I mean, they had no information about what was going on over here. Now he's going to come over the top, and he's going to pick up Alo. That's another down, and it's going to get flushed immediately as GEX is just throwing a complete wrench into Lazarus's plans here.
That's not good. Uncivil's just near hospital, so it's not even going to be able to help out Purdy Curdy. They might be down to 1 here if GEX can find Purdy. Sophia pushing up, they're being aggressive. They played this quite well. Credit where credit's due for Leo in that scenario. For GEX, he really kind of gave him that front line, opened the door. Phase 2, we'll see if it's interesting. Oh boy, it goes out far west.
Man, okay. So a little bit less than 50% out of play here as we see more shots getting sent over the top here. Uncivil's trying to protect his teammate.
Do they think he's at the rock, or do they?
They have to know he's at the rock. Where else is he going to be? I mean, it's a big rock. It's the only thing you can hide it behind. But unfortunately, it looks like, actually, fortunately for Lazarus, it looks like Uncivil is going to protect his teammate from range here.
Yep.
And keep him alive for now, at least.
I mean, that would have been handy about 2 minutes ago.
Well, still very clutch coming out now as we see the Genesis clown car back in full effect. Na'Vi rolling 2 deep as well. They're trying to find a spot, staying on the south side here.
Fair to say, a lot more rotations here for match 2 compared to match 1, considering the circle shifts that we've had so far.
Yeah, these circle shifts have been absolutely brutal early on. And now Domu is going to return a little bit of fire onto Na'Vi.
Is he, though? He might just get going.
Out of this, yeah. He's got nobody near him. The rest of his squad way off to the west here, so, or off to the east, rather, so he can't really, he doesn't have any backup on this.
It's one of those scenarios where I think Na'Vi got a little fortunate that he wasn't in a better position to capitalize a bit more on that. And we go over to Rang from Ace.
Oh, Icon. You gotta crouch, buddy. Crouch, peek, lean, do anything. Just don't stand completely still and eat a bullet to the face just like that. So unfortunate there. As we check in on the Entus Ace boys, they are on the west side of Quarry. They have actually a lot of room around themselves here. Nobody really pressuring them too hard here. Now their sister team, on the other hand, is getting a little bit trading a few shots back here with infantry.
Yeah, they're still holding at Quarry. I mean, teams wanting to push have got to be careful pushing too close to this coastline. suspecting that eventually it's going to keep pushing back over to Quarry region, for example, for at least phase 4. We'll see what happens in phase 3, of course, but you don't want to be throwing everything to the beach. And then, of course, backfires in phase 4.
Absolutely. A little bit dangerous here if you're a PEL fan. You do have Na'Vi and TSM both working from the south side here. So chances are that they run into each other pretty high as the circle starts to make its move more towards, eventually going to come back towards the east. I don't know when it's going to be. We still have one more. We still have circle 3 to go.
And this is, anything can happen for phase 3, right?
It truly can here as we check on tempo. They have a nice little 2-2 split going on towards the middle here. Nobody pressuring them too much just yet, but it getting a pretty good
I like
deal
Tempo's
of
position more in terms of center of the zone.
Yeah.
They're more likely that it's going to shift back onto them for phase 4 as well. They might not have to move maybe for the rest of this game, depending, of course, how it plays out. TSM, 1 kill. Down south, I've actually spotted a crate. Iroh's going to go over and get that. Na'Vi. Doozy trying to find an angle onto Rory. He needed to land those first couple of shots. Now he loses it.
Well, this is going to attract a little bit of attention from Entis Ace as well. As Mickey, you could see, hearing those shots go off in the background. He does have the rest of the squad with him working the hillsides. Looks like they might show a little bit of interest, but right now it looks like TSM and Na'Vi just going to hold stance.
Here we go, phase 3. Have we got any more interesting circles up our sleeves? It goes north. Okay. Wow, it's gone just about every single angle you can think of so far for the first 3 phases. This is pretty decent for quite a few teams because there is a lot of that congestion up north. The teams that were struggling to make it down to that Quarry region who had to hold up north have stayed there, and now they get this circle. Rory in a bit of trouble for TSM, has got Gustav on the other side of the road. You can see him just pushing up that hill to your left of your screen. Senya pushing over. Will he spot him though?
Oh, Gustav coming over the top right at the worst time here for Senya, as it looks like Na'Vi finally turning things. As soon as they saw that circle pop, they wanted to turn their full attention here onto TSM.
There's only 20 seconds till this blue moves as well. Both TSM and Na'Vi won't necessarily want to take this fight. It's so far south of the circle. It would be probably ending up disastrous for both teams if they take this sort of fight. A lot of teams up north already inside of their compounds. Gen G ended up actually pushing up away from the coastline, and it worked out perfectly for them as TSM on the move, and they're going to push up on the west coastline. Shy from GEX spotting Sun Sister, the Japanese team. Kadesu getting a revive from Fiachen, or at least trying to.
I haven't really talked too much about Sun Sister just yet, but I mean, not trying to be toxic, but there's really not a whole lot to talk about with Sun Sister.
Technically, they were the last team to make it in. They held that final 8th position in the elimination stage.
Rory. He hears Elvis going on top of him. And then, meanwhile, it looks like the North American teams are coming alive in the kill feed there. It's finishing off a couple of the Entis Force boys. And yet, Rory just going to play it a little safe here. He had an angle on this, but the rest of the team just calling him back. And they're going to go ahead and let Na'Vi make their way into the southern part of the circle. As we check in on Genesis, they've got the full attention of Sting Divine.
14.5 minutes gone finally. We might see a fight here for match number 2. K-Line with a nade, knockdown onto Levi's. Gen G is going to get involved. Third party from Esther. Nice knockdown onto Jet. Sting Divine coming up second best here, and they are down to just Nikki. Nikki is by himself for Sting Divine, who had a decent match 1, picked up 7 or 8 points or so. Nikki spotted. Nikki flushed immediately. K-Line. Genesis on to kills. Sting Divine out in last.
Just like that, Sting Divine goes down. They're getting shot at from range here by Tempo Storm. Nothing really too serious, as it looks like Entis Ace was thinking about maybe pushing up over this, maybe getting involved, but instead pulling off, as probably a good idea because they have Na'Vi just to their south here.
Vendetta spotted down by TSM. They're down to just Edge and Non-Reg. Non-Reg with a knockdown onto Gustav as TSM push up. Michael and Iroh getting close by. They might just leave Gustav for Rory to go get the revive unless another member of TSM gets knocked down. Then Rory's probably required. So Rory goes for the revive. Iroh and Michael holding closer towards Vendetta. And if they get that revive, Poro push up 4v2, and the way that TSM is playing, it doesn't spell good news for Vendetta and the 2 boys. And they've only got 45 seconds to deal with this. Phase 4 is now shifted far out to the east, right on top of Tempo Storm, kind of like I said it would a couple of phases ago.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, once you saw where that circle was going to go, how it was cutting a little bit more towards the water, we know it cuts away from water turn from circle 4, so the hard eastern shift is pretty much expected from these guys. But again, TSM taking their time with this one. They as we said, they feel aggressive, they feel confident, but they're also not playing this stupidly, as Gustav is going to try to take a run past and see if he can maybe spot out where everybody is.
That's smart. Now Gustav has a much better position here for TSM as he's pushed in front of them. Now they're just completely surrounded, swarmed. TSM playing this well. Michael with the knockdown onto Ed. Non-Reg now in a 1 versus 4. Vendetta are on 0 points, and it seems like after the first 2 games, they will remain on 0 points. The only team after 2 matches so far in the semi-finals on a donut. Non-Reg, unfortunately, running out of time and space. TSM have played this very well, and they're up to kill number 3. They are feeding on the Australian team.
Yeah, that's not good news here for the Australians as they keep just running over into TSM as Navi Senya is getting spotted out. He's getting shot at from Entasace from range. We check in on Rumblers here. This is on the very far eastern part of the circle. They're running right into VC as VC's trying to make their rotation in.
VC Gaming did lose 1, and they've been rotating for a lot of this game. At one point, they went all the way down to Primorsk. And then they saw that phase 4 pop and then made their way back up east late. Tide knockdown onto Cherry Pop in here. Rumblers trying to just hold the territory out to the east. They've still got the Wizzy Tower available for Waldo and Micro. Lost HD trying to get involved on DJ Boy, but he hasn't quite got the angle they would have liked as the kill feed starts to really line up here now for phase 4. We had 55 alive at one point, like two or 3 minutes ago, Poro. Now down to 46.
Yeah, there's a few things going on. The center of the circle is a fight between Infantry and QM. Meanwhile, Gen G has run into Navi, but this is what we want to see here. This is for pretty much control of the entire eastern side of this zone here. Whoever comes out on top of this, we are going to see PO get flushed out there. Rumblers have lost 1. VC now making it a 3v3. Go check in on that fight as Gen G regroups.
They just keep rotating from team to team, let alone position to position. I mean, they are just wiping everyone out along their way, along the path. Now Rory, he almost got run over, gets to the tree in time, well played. We'll get Loki here. TSM up to 4 kills now as Loki's eliminated for Gen G. Esther's knocked down by Iroh. TSM just can't be stopped.
Gen G just getting completely outclassed here right now, and that is not something that we ever thought we'd be saying coming into this tournament. Timon now the last remaining player up, and TSM is on the hunt.
Timon, last one alive. Gen G are about to be taken out with just 1 point here in match 2. TSM are playing on another stratosphere right now as we are seconds away from phase number 5. Will it continue to feed onto Tempo Storm? Maybe QM, who are with a 3-man split. Has TSM getting it. It's looking good for them for this game.
Worth noting also that the boys from Genesis, the North American squad coming from the south, they're playing much in a similar way that TSM was, just splitting up, getting involved in taking shots at everything they can see. They've managed to pick up a couple of kills for themselves, and now they're turning attention on to Entasace.
Trying to shoot through the smoke, but he's just hitting the dust. Yeah, 3 kills for Genesis so far. Sitting in 5th position on the total rankings. Damon getting pushed. TSM have done this quite well so far in both matches. They're getting used to this. They've got a lot of practice in doing it.
See if Taman can maybe sneak a point out of this. He's looking for the window. He's going to find it. He's going to get 1. Oh, he's not going to get anybody as Iroh not having any of it. That's going to be it for Gen G.
4 points from 2 games for Gen G. Not the heavy favorites, but one of the favorites from the Korean region, from PKL.
Definitely up there.
It's Ace, 4 kills. They continue to be the Korean team that no one expected to do this well, Poro, but they are performing well.
They are performing absolutely to the top of their ability right now. As we see Pokémon, let's see if maybe he can come over the top and get something cheeky here. He does have the circle right on his back. No vehicle. We can see Entasace now coming alive in the kill feed. And he's going to find Rory. Rory's going to hide. Oh, he doesn't manage to get the down, and Rory goes down to the zone. But not before Pokémon gets taken down and flushed out by Mr. Michael.
8 kills for TSM. Bestalotch was keeping overwatch of the situation, but he wasn't able even to help out. And
That
Well,
thing is
such a
chunking
distance
too.
to go here as well. I think he just eventually will die to the blue. So does Rory. K-Mine knocked down by Joy from Enters Ace. Michael Iro pushing through. Never mind, Best of Luck will find the knockdown onto Michael. Iro can't see him. He goes for the nade. Best of Luck will take one with him to the grave. That'll be 2 kills for Na'Vi. Oh, that nade almost got him. It doesn't though. Na'Vi go out in 12th, deny the points to TSM.
A little bit of reciprocation there as TSM was denied the points from Na'Vi in their game 1 win. But 2 alive now for TSM. Iro and Gustav working their way in from the east side, but they've got a fight breaking out in front of them between Genesis and Entis Ace. Looks like K-Mine is going to finally bleed out. It's probably going to come over the top spot out. Joy not going to land enough shots into it. He's going to trade it back, and yes, he's going to get that down. Mickey is down to half health, but that's going to do it for Genesis. Entis Ace with a nice little spread here.
Yeah, they had the numbers, they had the position. Genesis did their best, but it wasn't enough. Phase 6 now pops, and it goes away from Tempo Storm. Up north, GEX, QM in a decent position. And Kale for Entis Force. GYY knocked down by Iro. TSM are going to, I think, probably keep fighting until there's nothing left from them.
That's what they're doing, and that's what they're doing effectively. Is Song Yang going to stay alive for a little bit, but Microfry has a inkling. He knows he's down here.
Too far.
It's a skinny little tree, and that's going to be one to find him. Los HD getting him with the big nade, and that's 2 kills now for Rumblers coming around on the north side.
And you can see it on the map as well. This will give them a great position for the Rumblers for the remainder of this game. Phase 6 onwards, they'll have this north side. They might still have to deal with GEX, who are inside that building, but they'll be away from Tempo Storm. VC might rotate into them, but they're on the move. TSM still alive. And they'll continue the rotation through Gustav. Iro stayed behind, but he's about to crash right towards Purdy Curdy from Lazarus.
Oh, Gustav, he's gonna move. Yeah. Oh no, Lazarus.
Or is he?
Could have got a free kill there. Is he actually gonna survive this? Oh my goodness, he's gonna come over the top and he's gonna find Fiashan.
It's like plot armor. He
What
just
is
can't be
going on?
taken down. Iro does finally go down as he was left behind. Crazy Sam will finally get him, hiding behind the door. TSM out in 9th. And the hectic run comes to an end just short of the placement points as well. 8 teams remain, 18 alive.
All right, it's Ace.
I'm not sure if that UAZ is drivable.
Yeah, it might need a little time in the shop here. As I say, he's going to take some long-range shots here from Tempo. Tempo has been sitting in this building for quite some time, but still have managed to pick up 3 kills, which is nice to see. As we see QM still 3 strong on the eastern side. They've been scrapping quite some time with Sharky.
I think those are like, what, frustration shots from Sharky because they've only got the 3 kills considering where they've been inside of the circle, but it's the fact that the teams have just been fighting around them.
See Alpaca very low here, trying to run across, and he's going to stay alive for now unless QM can land 1 shot into him. Yep, that's going to be it.
GYY, although he gets immediately trained by Mickey from Entis Ace, who don't have the best position right now.
This is actually huge news for Tempo and Rumblers.
Yeah.
As all these teams that were even strength, and yeah, Lazarus actually going to pack. Purdy Curdy going to pick up Ligue, and that's going to be QM down to just 1 player up right now as they try to go for a res. Looks like he's going to stick it for now. And Purdy Curdy going to make his way in the circle and stay alive.
And QM got the revive with a GYY from Easy, so they've got 2 alive. They'll keep their attention towards Purdy Curdy. Sharky spotted him as well. 5 seconds till phase 7. Crazy Sam lost with a line for Sun Sister. 2 up for GEX. Tide sitting in the center of the circle there. And he now definitely is sitting in the center of the circle for phase 7 for VC Gaming. And you can see, of course, where Rumble is located out to the east. But now it's time to move as well for Tempo Storm. Time for them to get involved, try and find a couple of kills, and finish match 2 strong.
Yeah, the question is, what is Tempo going to do once they try to get into this circle? Are they going to wrap towards the east, or are they going to wrap towards the west? They have the entire the 3-man squad of Rumblers still off to the east. They have control over a lot of vision. If they go to the west, they can probably pick up on a lot of these single kills and duos. Is the grenade going to come out from GYY? Not going to find anything. Mickey going to try to reciprocate here a little bit.
It's not going to find the knockdown that they were looking for. Blue's going to start moving very shortly. Mickey's going to take whatever's left of this Darcy. It's about to blow up, though. He doesn't get out, and he doesn't get out in time. Sharp Shot will pick up the elimination. 4 kills now for Tempo. Purdy Curdy spots GYY coming out of the other side of that ridge. Easy's there, and Easy with an easy headshot on the Purdy Curdy. Lazarus out in 8th. And QM can get the revive again onto GYY. It's like the third one.
You know, who's keeping count here anyways? Rang is going to try to outrun the blue zone, avoiding the shots from Tempo. He does break line of sight. For now, he's going to come over the top here. It's only a question of who's going to get the kill here. And actually, it'd be huge if...
Sharky.
Good job. Sharky going to leave it nothing to chance here. As Tempo going to wrap in and stay to the south. Might look like they head a little bit towards... Yeah, they're going dead center here.
I mean, they might as well. They've got the numbers advantage. They're the only team with 4 alive. The next best is Rumblers with 3. And Rumblers have been quite passive out on the edge of this circle rather than pushing in, trying to take power of the zone. Which is fine. It's understandable. But now you can see where Zampa's position is on the map, and it's pretty decent. Only Tide's maybe in a better spot, but Tide's by himself. He's not going to be looking for a fight here. Oh. GYY with a knockdown onto Kane over towards the west of the circle. Shay Wei pushing up for GEX, finds the headshot onto GYY, which I think if he goes down, he's going to bleed out in like 1 second. He's been knocked 3 times prior. The nade thrown from Shay Wei does get the knockdown onto GYY, and let's see how quick he's going to bleed out.
Easy staying alive for a little bit longer here.
He's gone.
Yeah, he's a GYY. You're done, buddy. But I mean, look, you can't take anything away. QM has been just fighting, scrapping, tooth and nail for everything they've gotten so far in this map. I think they have about 6 or 7 kills here, and they still have Easy trying to stay alive for a little bit longer. But he's got to make his way into circle. While GEX is not forgetting about him. They have a priority on the north side. They're just waiting to see if they can maybe spot him out.
This is actually working out quite well for Tide for now. I don't want to jinx him, but Tempo Storm looking towards Rumblers. GEX and QM have been fighting. As this progresses, Tide might find himself in a position to maybe, just maybe, come away with a win for VC game. We'll see how it plays out. It all, I think, depends on how Tempo Storm and Rumblers do. Of course, if they really damage each other, someone comes out alive, but it's only like 1 or 2 remaining between the 2 North American teams. It could be a chance for Tide. As Easy is going to be spotted by Shy Away out west. He will be eliminated. 4 teams remain. Tempo Storm, GEX, VC, and Rumblers.
Tide had vision there on Zampa. It's just a question of is he going to take a shot here. Shy Away actually going to take some shots over at Tempo. That might force Tempo to pull back a little bit here as they do finally start landing a little bit of damage. Not getting any downs, though. As we see game 1 belong to the PEL, and TSM and Navi game 2 now turning over to the NPL.
Not just yet, though. Not just yet.
Not just yet.
Not with GEX and VC still in this game. And the fact is, Rumblers and Tempo Storm, considering they've got the numbers, they're the ones that are being more aggressive. They're fighting each other here. Smokes are out, utilities are being used, but it's a matter of time going into phase 9 that we're going to see Tempo and Rumblers take the fight with each other, and then I presume GEX will third party this.
Yeah, you can see GEX is just wanting to hang out on the edges here and just take shots in. But Tide, oh my God, as soon as he gets a spot, there's the center of the circle. You can see just how far Tide is away from it. It's
not far.
I mean, he could be so influential here as, you know, when he decides to perk up and maybe take shots.
I really hope he doesn't give his position away, but I think he's just thrown out a smoke in preparation for his eventual departure from that spot. Sharp shot knocked down by Lost HD. Now it begins between the 2 MPL teams. Lost finds a second one onto Sharky. Quick headshot. It's gone horribly wrong, but Luke finds the knockdown onto Lost HD. Can't find a second with a transfer. Wow. Oh, Rumblers have just rumbled. Tempo Storm out in 4th position, but here Rumblers are low. Are they going to get the revive onto Lost HD? Otherwise, it's a 2 versus 2 versus 1. Tide is still in this game.
They have time to get this res here. GEX looked like they might have been pushing onto this, but they just pushed up far enough to get into a bush and get a little bit closer to the center of the circle. Rumblers still haven't stuck the res.
1 nade available for Kane. Does he just go for broke, try and throw it into the smoke onto Waldo? Oh, Tide's been spotted though. He doesn't even know where to shoot. Oh no, for Tide, he's out in 3rd. Shy Away with a knockdown of the Lost HD. Never mind, it was the elimination. Micro does get the knockdown. That's what you want. Now to Kane. 2 versus 1. Kane holds the spot though, close by to Waldo. He gets up, he gets 1. Can he find the second one though? They'll get the win for GEX. Both Kane and Micro are low. They don't know where each other is though. Micro wants the high ground. Kane trying to rotate to the right. He spots him in the grass. Kane gets the win for GEX.
A 10-kill win for GEX. What a clutch performance at the end by the duo. I mean, Rumblers had it. Oh, they had it. It was so close. They came up off a great fight with Tempo Storm. GEX bided their time, waited till the perfect moment to strike, and actually just destroyed. Oh, what a great finish there.
I mean, Rumblers were low from that fight with Tempo Storm, but to their credit, Poro, they won that fight.
They did. They did. You know, I mean, you could argue, did they have time to maybe go and get the res onto Los HD? Did they have the time to I mean, you could see that they were expecting to get rushed. And GEX, it looked for a moment like they were going to do just that. They got up, they started making that movement, but then they went prone, realizing that maybe they didn't have the time or they just didn't have vision. And, you know, in the end, Rumblers, I mean, you got it down to a 1v1. It was so